too bougie. You don't you have like a nice car and all that kind of stuff. You had this like
I sold my nice car.
Yeah, you had this amazing car. Can't roll around with that car in a Taurus.
Taurus, oh shoot. Hey, we're live on the stream, guys. We've got less than 6 minutes before we start the radio portion of the show. We've got the MVS clock behind me. Yes, you recognize a couple people you haven't seen in a little while. Andrea Casal, she's school is out temporarily, so we have Andrea. She's not teaching, and of course Anthony Bandiero, he's back with us as well. And you know, Anthony, you and Dr. Yates, he makes me call him Doctor on the live show.
I know he made me do it too. I know. Mm-hmm.
But are you guys still working together? Are you still doing?
We're always working together. We're always working.
We're always working together. Yeah, but not as but not as much as we were before, because I'm trying to get just really focus on search and seizure. But whenever I can help him, I do it, and vice versa.
I mean, Chip, I got tired about Stein and Anthony. You know, really, when it came down to it, I need my man to have the spotlight. So I had to step back in the shadow.
You know, I called him Tony once, and that was a mistake. Oh, my God. He didn't do the show for like 6 months. Yeah.
Oh, stop.
It's Anthony. And I heard that someone told me, a family member that knows the priest says that he saw The Sopranos, and he changed his name, and he said, look, from now on, you're calling me Anthony. And it was like, that was it after that. Yeah.
Yep. I'm in real life. That's why I'm wearing the black.
The way my career went, Chip, is early in my career, you're not going to believe this, but early in my career, people would say I resembled The Rock. Even a few people thought I was The Rock. Now, this was a long time ago.
Wow.
But at the end of my career, they thought I resembled Tony Soprano. So it kind of went sideways.
Went from one extreme to the other.
Yeah, it went sideways.
Yeah, he went from a rock to a boulder.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I'm just checking the stream. While we're at it here, I'm going to pop over to our Rumble feed and make sure that we're live on that. So, yep, we got MVS in Colorado. Wow, it's 15 degrees in Colorado right now, where MVS is at. That's colder because it's like what in the here in Tampa, it's what in the 40s or the 50s right now, I think. So
I don't know. It's too cold.
I know,
for
incredible. You see where it's you see how cold it is where I'm at.
You know, I've got a thermal
27.
underneath the shirt.
Not bad.
Oh wow.
We had 80 degrees on Christmas.
Oh, 80 degrees? Are you serious?
We're
in Tulsa, huh?
Yeah, it didn't last, but we're back in the 30s and 40s now. But yeah, it was kind of wild.
It was pretty warm here on Christmas.
Yeah, it was. It's going to be definitely cooler for New Year's. Yeah.
50 degrees right now, Chip.
Oh, I got the 50? Okay. All right.
It's 50.
It still qualifies for the the thermal I have underneath this long sleeve. So yeah. And I wore my winter coat out, and I wore a beanie when I took the dog out this morning for the walk. So yeah.
Yeah, I had to trade my baseball cap off for the beanie.
Yeah. They are great. So going to Vegas, it's coming up, guys. We're about 3 weeks away. Brett and I are going. Jeff Winninger's going to go. Anthony, actually Travis, I think is gonna be able to go now.
I'm still looking for tickets, but I'm going if I can get tickets.
I've got you.
Where? Shot show?
I've got you. I've got it in for you, Travis.
Okay.
We'll have to talk off camera because everybody that watches the show is going to be hitting me up on the stream. But I have an in. I had somebody on the show that said, "Hey, do you know anyone that needs tickets to get in?" And I said, "Yeah, I just might." So
I just need two.
You need two? Okay. I will remind me after the show to tell you who that is, and I need to hook you guys up. So,
and Anthony, I'll see you guys there. I'll be there.
You'll be there.
I think I'm just for one day. Yeah.
For what day? What day might that be?
Wednesday. I think Wednesday. What day is it again? Or
it's
what
Tuesday
week?
through Friday. It's the 20th through the 23rd.
Well, okay.
Well, the 19th is a Monday, and that's the shooting day.
Yeah, I'll be
that show. But really, it starts Tuesday the 20th.
Yeah, I'll be there probably Wednesday afternoon.
Okay, yeah. Now Brett and I are leaving early on Friday. Friday's the last day, and I want to get home to the wife and spend time for the weekend and all that good stuff. So I'll be leaving early Friday with Brett. So we're planning on doing a live show on radio at 9:00 in the morning on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I'm still trying to work out some of the logistical stuff, trying to make sure they've got Ethernet for us and some other stuff. But that's what we're planning on doing.
Where are you going to be doing the show at? There on the floor?
in the press room. So we have got press passes. We're going as a you know, I mean, that's what we do. We tell the news and stuff from a law enforcement perspective. So we did a press pass this January this year, and we're going back. We've already got the credentials, so we have access to the press room, which is really nice. And so we're planning on doing that, you know, at 9 o'clock in the morning. But it's really, you know, it's first come, first served. We're trying to get that room reserved at that time slot, and I'm trying to get Ethernet. If I don't have Ethernet, then I've got to figure out a way to get this equipment, you know, attached. And I have an idea on how I can do that. I think they have a hardware device that will let you do a Wi-Fi connection, and it's got Ethernet ports in it, and that might work.
Yeah,
maybe. So that's all the technical stuff. And I got to travel with all this. Brett and I have to bring equipment with us in order to get this stuff done, including cameras, microphones, all that fun stuff. So it's gonna, you know. Oh, we're 15 seconds away from going live on radio. Thanks for letting me know, guys. I appreciate it. Here we go.
I thought you had it. I thought you had it under control.
There you go. All right, guys, welcome to Leo Roundtable at leoroundtable.com. My name is Chip the Block, and I'm your host, and we're a group of law enforcement professionals that talk about today's news and issues, but we do it from a law enforcement perspective. Let me introduce the crew. Guys, if you don't mind waving for the video portion of our show, he's back. Blue the Gold at bluethegold.com. We have attorney Anthony Bandiero. Yes, search and seizure all day long, but it's not as boring as it sounds. He makes it engaging. I know I attached the word boring with search and seizure. I apologize, Anthony. Oh, I mean, attorney Anthony. I have to use the word attorney before Anthony, some kind of disclosure thing. But anyhow, thank you so much for being on the show. Attorney Anthony Bandiero, we really appreciate it. And he should add some interesting perspective to the show. And we've also got Dr. Travis Yates. You know, the hardest part about doing shows with attorneys and doctors is like, which title's more important? You put that guy first as the doctor ahead of the attorney ahead of the doctor. I'm sure I'll hear about it from one of them at the end of the show. But we have Dr. Travis Yates, retired police major from the Tulsa Police Department. He's also with Courageous Police Leader, travels the country telling people about we need more courageous police leaders. It affects from the top all the way down. So thanks so much for being on the show, Travis. I see Andrea shaking her head, and yes, Andrea, crowd favorite. She's been on the show for I can't say really. We've been around for over a decade now. This month we've been around for 10 years. I know, Andrea, it's crazy, but Andrea's been with us for a long, long time. I know she looks so young. So Andrea Casal retired from the Tampa Police Department. So thanks, guys, so much for being on the show. Shout out to our sponsors. We have our title sponsor, Gulls at Gulls.com, CompliantTechnologies.com, our satellite sponsor. And yes, thanks to them, we've been on satellite radio since May the 5th, Cinco de Mayo, and it's going great. AeroPrecisionUSA.com, our arms sponsor, Gunlearn.com, on Medicare.live, SafeguardRecruiting.com, our streaming sponsor. And thanks to them, we are streaming to over 1 million followers right now on social media during the live show. TwoBells.com, they built a new online store at LeoRoundtable.com. You get the cool gear like the shirt that I'm wearing at LeoRoundtable.com, and we don't charge anything extra. I pay what you guys pay, and we don't make a dime off of anything in the store. We're just trying to get our gear out there. And finally, we've got FishOrlandoBass.com, and I don't think Andrea has heard this one yet, but next time you're going to Disney, you're taking the kids or the grandkids. Andrea doesn't have grandkids yet, but hook up with the Zach. He's got a bass fishing charter in Orlando. Drop the wife and I'm being a little sexist here, Andrea, but drop the wife and the kids off or the grandkids off at Disney. Give them the credit card, give them the cash, and then go hook up with Zach. When I say hook up, Andrea, I'm just talking about like hooking up for fishing. But, you know, go hook up with Zach and do the bass fishing charter in Orlando. Or if you're feeling more adventurous, you can do the alligator hunting where you get to catch and relocate, not kill, but relocate the wild Florida alligator. It's an amazing opportunity. FishOrlandoBass.com. And I'm waiting. Whoever hooks up with Zach and sends me a picture first, we got to figure out something special for you. If you have like an open wound or something from like a gator biter, well, that would be even better. Our hits would just go up. Yeah, Anthony, write that. I see you're going to write that website down, FishOrlandoBass.com. Yeah. Brian Burns, a shout out to Brian Burns for the Tampa Free Press at TampaFP.com. Thanks for carrying our content, Brian. Also, Ray Dietrich, former lawman.com. And our very own Dr. Travis Yates at lawofficer.com. Thanks, guys, for supporting the show and making all this streaming stuff possible. And now, what in the world are we going to be talking about today? We do have a main topic, guys. It's kind of interesting. New data reveals the horrific truth about illegal immigrant crime. How bad is it? You're about to find out. There may be some surprises here. Also, boys share I expect to hear from Andrea on this one. Boys share an AI generated nude images of 13-year-old girl, and she's the one that gets expelled. Curious, what the commentary is going to be on that one. Then we got Springfield police. They released a body cam of a taser incident that left the suspect dead. This dude face plants. It's not necessarily a taser death. It's just like an impact death, right? It's a bad face plant. And then we've got Monterey County deputy shot armed man through the windshield. That's an interesting one. We got Queens, a senior in Queens begins a 4-year sentence on gun charges after a justified self-defense shooting. Anthony, I know you're going to be all over that. I'm sorry, Attorney Anthony. Police officer pinned and dragged by a driver during a traffic stop. We still have guys getting dragged by cars. How's that happening? And then Waterbury detective justified in returning fire after being shot by a carjacking suspect. And if we had time to get to the other ones, Texas officer indicted for murder after an on-duty crash kills 2 children. And then lastly, we have a feel-good story. And we can take these out of order, panelists, if you guys want to. We have a body cam footage that shows it's the Missouri State Highway Patrol trooper. He locates 2 kidnapped children on I-70. Gave me chills watching that. It's what we're all about. We need more stories and videos like this. It was great. So if you guys don't mind, let's start off with the main topic. They have a tendency to be a little bit deeper. And on this one, and I'll try to go through this as quick as I can, NewYorkPost.com. So it is a liberal news source. So if you're liberal and you're down in the data, we're taking it from one of your sources, okay, the New York Post. New data reveals the horrific truth about illegal immigrant crime. So activist claims that illegal aliens commit crimes at lower rates than native-born Americans do may appear convincing, but new data from the New York State, it shows that those here illegally, they actually commit crimes at a rate more than 3 times higher than that of legal residents. Again, illegals 3 times higher committing crimes than the legal residents, and it's costing us billions of dollars. And so they go into some data, so try to kind of simplify it as best I can. It's true that if you lump all immigrants together, so that's legal and illegal, right? Relatively few of them are accused and convicted of crimes committed here in the United States. Legal immigrants, commit crimes at very low rates. So combining their crime data with that of the illegals, it kind of waters it down and it makes it look like it's not that bad. Now, fresh data from the Department of Homeland Security, it offers a fresh look at the question. So the Post has reported that the department claims that over 7,000 of these currently incarcerated in New York State prisons and jails are illegal immigrants. So 7,113 of the people in New York State prisons and jails are illegals. They've been convicted of committing 148 homicides, 717 assaults, 134 burglaries, 106 robberies, over 200 dangerous drug offenses, over 150 weapon offenses, 260 sexual predatory offenses, and then there's more crimes to boot. And going on, it says New York's failure to honor the U.S. Immigration and Customs, the ICE detainers, have resulted in the release of almost 7,000 criminal illegal aliens, and that's just since January. And it says altogether, roughly a little over 50,000 people are incarcerated in New York's prison and jail system. About little over 32,000 of those 50,000 in New York State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision, and another 18 plus in the state, city, and county jails. Dude, that's a lot. The 7,113 illegal aliens currently incarcerated, they make up about 14% of New York's total inmate population. So that's about the population of blacks in the U.S., right, which is about 14%. The illegals make up that in New York, in the New York inmate population. Another confounding factor, immigration authorities often deport the undocumented immigrants directly from prison before they finish their sentences. They don't like to say illegals all the time, so now they're undocumented immigrants. And it says that, look, the data, it just goes on and on and on about how much money it costs taxpayers for beds and to house these people, and how the stats are skewed because a lot of these people are deported before they finish their sentences in jail and stuff. And you don't get that extra data that really should be reflected, but it's missing because they're not currently in jail, but they committed the crimes and they get deported before they finish their sentences. But it's just outstanding data coming from a liberal source, and they're using New York for a lot of the stats. Any commentary on this or any surprises, guys? And Andrea.
All right. The daughter of a legal immigrant. First of all, the thing that just blows my mind is I have yet to see an ethical reason as to why to allow illegal immigrants into the United States. It just does not make sense. There's a reason why there are laws in place. There are reasons why, there's been a way to legally enter the United States for years. In a lot of these countries that they're coming from, these things happen all of the time. The same people that are committing those crimes over there are coming over here illegally, and they're committing them in the United States. The fact that people are not appalled by this, I still have yet to grasp my brain around it. When I saw that you sent us an article from the New York Post, I was sitting there, I'm like, oh, great. This is going to be, something that I'm like, ugh. But, it's true. If you look at the facts, and if people start to recognize, what is going on here, and stop thinking about, all of the, they just look at the facts. Look at the facts. Unfortunately, the only reason why they want illegal immigrants here is for, either illegal reasons, and so that they can vote, so that we can, a lot of times the bleeding hearts want to sit there and say, oh, let's allow these people in. There are reasons why the laws have been put in place, and they need to be enforced.
Thanks, Andrea. Before you go, Travis, I just want to mention, my wife's Colombian. Her family came over here the same way Andrea's family came over here from Cuba. And it's just such an insult to people that stand in line. I have relatives standing in line trying to get over here, and they can't. And then we got the people coming over, and I'm paying over $2,500 in healthcare for me and my wife with no kids. And it was over $2,400 last year. It goes up about $150 a year, over $2,500 a month. And that's just not because of any special. That's what everybody that's in my position that leaves Tampa Police that want to stay in the program pays. But if I'm illegal, I get free health care, free room and board. I get a credit card that's funded. I get, a cell phone and all kinds of stuff. So, hey, we're coming up on time for our first commercial break. So, Travis, hold that thought. Commercial break coming up. We'll be right back. All right, guys, it's time to talk about our title sponsor, Galls at galls.com. And as police officers, we get our gear from a lot of different sources. When you consider the online option, it's almost limitless, right? But I want to remind everybody about what's really most important here. It's about supporting the companies that actually support law enforcement. And I don't know of a company that does that better than Galls at galls.com. And listen to this. Even their motto is proud to serve those who serve, which of course they do in spectacular fashion. And not only that, they walk the talk by supporting dozens of focused organizations like this radio show. So when you're looking for gear, please support our title sponsor by going to Galls at galls.com. And they're even going to do you one better. For the loyal listeners of the show, they've got a radio code to use to get 15% off your next purchase at galls.com. It's radio 15. Type in radio 15 at galls.com in order to get 15% off your next purchase. That is good till the end of the year, December the 31st. And they have gift cards. We give away a couple every week on the show. Hook up your family, friends, and loved ones with a new Galls gift card, and they will be your new best friends. That is at galls.com. All right, now it's time to talk about Compliant Technologies at complianttechnologies.com. And we all know about the glove, but in today's world, protection goes beyond physical safety. It's about safeguarding those on the front lines from what we call hidden threats. And that's where MyTech, a division of Compliant Technologies, comes in. Now, MyTech provides advanced protective solutions for law enforcement, corrections, and first responders. Their EcoProtect Nitrile gloves, they offer 4-hour fentanyl and xylene protection, giving you peace of mind in high-risk environments. Plus, their MyShield disinfectants and sanitizers, they actually eliminate 99.9% of germs, bacteria, and viruses on contact. And we're not done. They continue to kill for up to 28 days, helping you stay protected both on and off duty. So when safety is non-negotiable, you can trust MyTech to deliver the protection that you need. Learn more about how to equip your team today by simply going to complianttechnologies.com/MyTech. Again, complianttechnologies/MITEK, because the best defense starts with the right protection. And make sure you watch the cool videos on the glove as well, complianttechnologies.com. All right, guys, 2 minutes before we come back to the radio portion of the show. Now, look, I know this looks easy for like a lot of people watching the show. Please don't try doing this hosting thing at home, talking this fast, having to drink energy drinks in order to be able to do. I know it looks easy. Don't try it at home. Okay, Travis, and I hated to cut you off. You didn't have much time anyhow, but you control the airways when we come back after the commercial break. It's all about you. And the hat, the LA hat. You got the look.
We can't hear him.
Anybody else here? Can anybody else hear me?
I hear you, but we can't hear him.
Oh, and I did wrong that. MVS has been so great. He's been sending me these cases of the monster, not of the Black Rifle energy drinks, and they were great. I ran out, so today I'm doing a Bang, but I don't want to do Black Rifle every day, because then why will they need to sponsor the show, right? So we're doing Bang, and it is this is the blue. It's the blue Raz is what we're doing today. It's got a great taste. And Bang was actually created by a guy named Jack Owalk down in Miami. And there was some legal stuff going on, and he lost the company, and Monster took it over. And now Jack Owalk has created another energy drink called AI Energy, which is really, really good. So I do like Bang, but Monster didn't create it. They just kind of took it over when a judge, down there in South Florida, that's a whole nother story, handed it over after some lawsuits were involved and stuff. But everybody having a great.
I didn't realize he created a new one.
AI Energy. They're supposed to be distributing it. I haven't found it in 7-Elevens yet, but you can order it online, just like you can with the Black Rifle Energy. That's the only way. Black Rifle is supposed to be in Walmarts. Other than the coffee, you can't find the energy drink anywhere. At least I can in Tampa. But we're 5 seconds away. Back to radio. Here we go, guys. All right, guys, welcome back. Leo Roundtable at leoroundtable.com, the law enforcement talk show. My name is Chip DeBlock, and I'm your host. We're joined by attorney Anthony Bandero, Dr. Travis Yates, and Officer Andrea Casal. We've been talking about crime stats involving illegal immigrants, primarily an article that was written by the New York Post in the New York area, of course. And the stats are just like horrific. 3 times the crime of what legals are committing. Travis, I know that you're waiting to talk on this, so the floor is yours, buddy.
Well, you're talking about the least surprised of any data I've ever seen, because the sheer fact that one group of people, legal immigrants, would wait and go through the process legally and come into the country and things like that would commit far less crimes than those that violate the law as their first act coming in the country. And there's been a big misinformation game here. And I agree with Andrea. Why is there not this crazy outrage? Well, a lot of it is coming from the politicians, because there's just a huge misinformation. Remember, they've been saying for years, immigrants commit less crime than other blah, 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 blah. Well, yeah, because they were taking the illegal immigrants and putting them with the legal immigrants and doing the data that way. What this article did was it separated it. And once you separate it, no shocker, there's a lot of crime. By the way, that's just the tip of the iceberg. A lot of county jails still don't report on the immigration status of people. So we really don't know. And one thing I thought of, I'd love to hear Anthony about this, and what he says about this is apparently the FBI is going to come out with a report in the coming days that violent crime has dramatically reduced in 2025. I mean, I saw numbers as high as 25%. Something doesn't compute with that, because with our own eyes, we're seeing something else. But I just wonder if mass exodus of illegal immigration is not making an impact on real crime reduction. It'd be amazing if that was actually the case, because obviously lives are being saved, but that's a pretty dramatic increase. But these numbers tell me that it's got to make some impact. Well, what a crazy scam that is, and what a scandal if the former administration intentionally did things that created a spike in violent crime from 2020 on. Oh, which that actually happened. So we should all be paying attention to that.
Wow. Any more commentary, guys, or Attorney Anthony?
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I would say is that I think that, and Travis probably knows this better than I do, but but these blue cities, they love to reclassify things, right? To downgrade your robberies to property crimes and your attempted murders to negligent use of a firearm, something like that, right? They do that all the time to get better stats. I think that's also part of the reduction, right? So there might be actually a real reduction in some places because of exodus, but I think the other reduction is hiding the numbers, or spinning the numbers.
Well, and to what Anthony's saying, that really happens. It happened in the agency that we worked for, and I'd sit there and be like, if you're going to reclassify my report, then don't call me to testify for that once you've altered my police report or once you've altered the stats. It actually happens, and it seems so unreachable, and people do not sit there and they don't think that there's any possible way that that's happening. But I'm going to tell you right now, I had arguments with supervisors about that same exact thing. And unfortunately, it happens. It happens all over the place.
Yeah, we just had this big report right here, Chip, where DC Metro was doing that. And what we said at the time was, that's not just DC Metro. that is happening in a lot of places.
Yeah. Tampa, we went through that in Tampa. Very frustrating. So I know, but our crime suddenly went down, didn't it, Andrea? It was amazing. Yeah. So well, guys, if you're ready, and look, hey, I know I gave some extra articles out there. So if there's anything you want to take out of order, please, let me know. I was going to cover the AI generated images of the 13-year-old girl, if unless you guys wanted to jump to something else. So endtimeheadlines.org is where this came from. Boys share an AI generated nude images, plural, of a 13-year-old girl, and she's the one that ends up getting expelled. So this happened in August 2025, 6th Ward Middle School in Louisiana. AI generated nude images of 8 female students and 2 adults started circulating among the students via Snapchat and possibly on the TikTok platform as well. So the fake images were created they took photos from social media of these people and they used AI tools to what they call nudify them. And there was teasing and bullying going on because of that. But remember, we're talking about young kids. So a 13-year-old 8th grade girl, she became one of the primary targets. And her and 2 of her friends reported the images to a school guidance counselor early on August the 26th. And they were trying to get help with these rumors that were being spread around the school about them. They also approached a sheriff's deputy assigned to the school, so I guess an SRO. The images shared on Snapchat were automatically deleted, and they could not be located at the time. So the principal, Danielle Coral, she initially treated the reports as just hearsay, and she expressed skepticism because there was no physical evidence immediately available. And so now we're kind of entering the realm of like Anthony Bandero's world. So throughout the day, and I'm talking about evidentiary. So throughout the day, the girl endured relentless bullying about the fake nudes. And I mean, it's, as an adult, it's bad enough. When you're talking about these young kids, though, I cannot even express how, hopefully people get how serious that is. Throughout the day, the girl endured relentless bullying about the fake nudes. In the afternoon, she returned to the counselor, requesting a call to her father, but she was denied. And as the school day came to a close, she boarded the bus where a boy was openly showing the images to others, including fakes of her friends. And now, being kind of overwhelmed, she ended up slapping the boy, hit him again, encourage others to join in. So 2 classmates struck this guy, and then she punched and stomped on him. Now, a video of the fight, it showed the students, it was circulating the images, and then it went on Facebook. And despite having no prior disciplinary issue or record, the girl ended up being expelled for a full semester, 89 school days, and they sent her to an alternative school. Now we're getting close to the next break, so I got a minute left. I'm gonna try to get through this. The boy accused of creating and sharing the images reportedly faced no school discipline, and he was not transferred. 3 weeks later, at a disciplinary hearing, the expulsion ended up being upheld. And the weeks afterward, the sheriff's department charged 2 boys with 10 counts each of unlawful dissemination of AI-generated images under a new Louisiana law. The girl faced no criminal charges considering the circumstances. And then her father, Joseph Tucker Daniels, he described the images as full nudes with her face put on them, expressed devastation over the expulsion, and talked about her being victimized multiple times by the images and all that kind of stuff. It goes on to say that after 7 weeks, an appeal to the school board succeeded. She returned to school on November the 7th on probation until the end of January 2026. So I'm going to leave it there. We'll come back and then we'll take commentary. Second commercial break, guys. We'll be right back. All right, guys, introducing Aero Defense by Aero Precision at aeroprecisionusa.com. A beacon of durability, dependability, and all-American craftsmanship in the realm of duty rifles. And yes, we're talking about one of Andrea's favorite subjects, long guns. They're born from an aerospace engineering company, so you know these guys know what they're doing. And Aero Defense by Aero Precision demands perfection because settling for anything less is not an option when your life is on the line. Visit aeroprecisionusa.com for a lineup that matches every discipline because they basically have something for everybody. And you know, back since 1994, they've been quietly leading the AR builder parts domain, but now they're making waves in the complete rifle arena with what they call the Solus bolt actions. And that's on all their M4, E1 Pro, and Mod 4 handguards. They hit the market last year at aeroprecisionusa.com. The embodiments of duty rifle excellence now being tailored for the civilian customer. And that means that you guys can start getting your hands on the primo stuff in their M5 AR 308 platform, spectacular. Don't settle for less when you can have the best. AeroPrecisionUSA.com. All right, guys, 4 minutes before we come back to the radio portion of the show. And you can go ahead and open up your mics. We got 4 minutes where we can talk amongst ourselves and stuff. And when we come back after the commercial break, I'll go ahead and finish out the story, and then we'll do some commentary. And what is that? What is on that mug that you're drinking, Anthony?
Santa or snowman. I just said, I said, look, I'm going on Leo Roundtable. I want to grab the manliest mug I had. This was the only one I had. All the other ones are rainbows and butterflies and stuff like that. The rainbows. That was something for Travis.
That's what I gave him for Christmas. Is the rainbow.
Yeah. That's what it was kind of our secret gift to each other.
So how is Blue the Gold doing these days? Have you had any cases that are or anything that you want to share with us and the listeners? Because we're streaming to over 1 million followers right now, and we're actually
out of business. No, we have probably we had a company meeting yesterday, and we have some major stuff going on in 2026. If some of the stuff I can't talk about because we're working with some partnerships, some major companies are considering bringing us in and integrating us with their product and their service. Some big names, which I'm really, really proud just to even be considered. But man, Blue to Gold is. We're on a rocket ride. I mean, this is actually going to be a very exciting year. My main problem is I got to get off the road. So Andrew, I travel 47 weeks per year. And I'm at home right now, but obviously, which is nice. But I live out of a suitcase. Travis, I don't think you travel that much. Not that much.
I don't think I could do that. I mean,
it's hard, man.
Yeah.
But you've been in the game a little longer than I have. So, I've been on the road for about almost 10 years. Wow. And my wife is very, very patient, tolerant, supportive, but even she's like, this is ridiculous. Like, I didn't marry a carny, So guessing people's weight, for the yak woman. So
but you do the webinars and
Yep. So I had a webinar last night. We had like 400 people there. So I do free webinars every week. They're very popular. Like about 1,000 people will sign up, but they get a link, so they can watch it later. I'm actually going to really put a lot of love into the podcast, right? Bringing people on, actually, kind of interviewing people, like not like you do because you have a radio show, but really kind of push the long form stuff a little bit more. Talk about some of the legal issues. Talk to chiefs of police.
I would monetize that by doing an online platform, and kind of like what Dan O'Kelly's doing with gunlearn.com, and then having certifications where they take the class, are certified for maybe 3 years, and then if they want to maintain the certification, that seems to be a very popular format. There's some recurring revenue on that because if they want to keep the certification active, but not hard to do because you could do it yearly because so many things change with search and seizure. Yeah. And we're talking about liability for the agency and the individual officer. That would be we have a certification
program. We call it CSSI. It's Certified Search and Seizure Instructor. And actually the webinars do count for they do CLEs, right? Continuing legal education. So and it's actually a very popular program that we have. And that's another 2026 thing is that we're blowing that up too. We're trying to create SMEs, right? These subject matter experts. I'm trying to create mini-me's, like people that are in the agency embedded to really just keep the conversation going because, an agency will bring me in. I'll train the whole agency. I've trained big agencies, right? And small ones, but I'll train the whole agency and then I leave and then they go back to their old ways, because there's not a guy saying, no, we don't do business that way. We can't, and so it's exciting. Thanks for asking too, Chip.
Well, guys, that's 4 seconds out. Back to radio. Here we go. All right, guys, welcome back. Leo Roundtable at leoroundtable.com, the law enforcement talk show. My name is Chip the Block, and I'm your host. We're joined by attorney Anthony Bandero, Dr. Travis Yates from Tulsa, Officer Andrea Casal from Tampa. And hey, we left off talking about boys sharing AI-generated nude images of a 13-year-old girl and others, and she ended up getting expelled from the school. And just going up from the story, I know her dad was real upset. She was doing all kinds of complaints. The images were self-deleting, so it was hard for them to get the proof of the images. And then she's on, at the end of the day, she's on the bus home, and he's, there's a kid on there doing it again, and she hits him at least once, and then she gets other kids to join in on the beat down, and she ends up getting expelled after 7 weeks and appealed to the school board. She returned to school November the 7th, and she was on probation until the end of January 29th of 2026. And she's got restrictions. She's barred from attending dances, sports, and extracurricular activities. Now, I know she's young, but still, those are in place. The school investigation eventually confirmed that the images were there, but they faced challenges as students initially denied the responsibility, which is what I would expect, anyhow, that they would deny being responsible. Principal Correll commented that kids lie a lot and often exaggerate issues. So that was her stance on this. Superintendent Jared Martin defended the district's action, stating that the victims can sometimes also be perpetrators and that the case was complex. And then experts highlight how schools often ignore digital harms until the victims reach a breaking point. I'm just thankful the girl didn't do anything bad to herself, like try to commit suicide or something. I mean, crap. Anthony Bandera, you want to start us off?
Well, look, the first thing is, one of the things they teach in law school is don't believe everything your client tells you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there could be some more to the story. And that's often the case. But let's just take the facts as we see them. Okay, what we're told. But when I read this case, what really bothers me is obviously, yes, she's having the people gang up on these kids and so forth, but they deserve it. They absolutely deserve it. They're victimizing this poor girl. And, maybe it'll teach them a lesson. Maybe they'll stop doing their behavior, because even if it's AI, I'm just thinking about myself. I don't have a daughter, but I can only imagine if this happened to my little girl, like how just the mental anguish. And you said about suicide and so forth. I guess in many respects, the AI would just be almost as harsh as the real thing. You know what I'm saying? And so, no, I absolutely, I think, and also then the other thing too, Chip, is that sending her to the alternative school, man, I mean, it's almost like you're ruining her life when her life was almost ruined in many ways. I just, it's victimizing the victim. And, look, I know it's complex. They didn't have the proof and so forth, but at the end of the day, where there's smoke, there's fire. She's freaking smacking this kid on the bus, and anybody knows that Snapchat has self-delete feature. So maybe there's some smoke there. There's a fire there. That's all I got to say about that. It's just, that case bothered me a lot.
Same here. Andrea.
Okay, so I'll probably say some of the unpopular things, but the superintendent's right. It is, it is complicated. I do have daughters. My whole thing is first of all, we're reading this, and this is one day of basically events that happened, right? It's saying that basically she was, she's the one that got in trouble. She got in trouble. I would separate the things, right? She probably got in trouble for the physical violence, which obviously is not allowed. So therefore, that part is separate. The other part takes time to go ahead and I don't agree with the words or anything that the school has said, but you have to take some time to sit there and break that apart. Snapchat, we know, is very dangerous. TikTok, very dangerous. I think one of the things that you have to do is sit there and realize, okay, there's probably some credibility there. It might take a little more time to investigate that part. They should have said, you know what, we're taking time to sit here and try and gather all the facts and, figure out what actually happened. And we promise we will look into this. And then maybe she would have felt somewhat vindicated. And then the fact that he went on, why is there a phone at school? First of all, second of all, that shouldn't be allowed. That stuff shouldn't be able to be disseminated there on school property. That's one reason why phones are not allowed in schools. People don't understand. Parents keep sending their kids with phones to school, even though they're not supposed to be there. So, look at all where the responsibility lies. She should never have been victimized. Unfortunately, some of that stuff, it takes a little longer to go ahead and try and, unravel what is true and what is not. We don't know her background. If that's honestly, if this is what happened, absolutely they deserve it. More kids should sit there and be held accountable for their actions. But I guarantee you what they're responding to is the actions of the physical violence, which they can see happened, versus what the unknown is that they're going to have to take a little more time to discover. They're two separate incidents. If you kind of look at it, you kind of have to break it down. Obviously, her reaction, if I was her parent, I'd sit there and be like, Good job. I'll take the expulsion. We'll go ahead and we'll deal with that. They shouldn't be disseminating any pictures with your face on it, with, that are real, made up, whatever. And I would go ahead and deal with that in a court setting, rather than, sit there and be like, I mean, her punishments were ridiculous. That was absolutely, she shouldn't have been punished, by no means. But I think it's going to take a little more time to sit there and find out what actually happened. We literally read that in a day's time span. She acted on, basically impulse. And, at 13, you should know not to act on impulse. I can't blame her. I would have acted on impulse too. As a parent, I probably would have acted on impulse. But unfortunately, I think that they're looking at the two separate, scenarios. And I think that it was just that the investigation of the pictures were going to take a little more time. They didn't handle that. They didn't handle that properly, though. Yeah,
it sounded like the dad. I mean, I know it's frustrating. The frustrating factor, and we're dealing with with a young girl. But I would have her. I mean, mentally, as a parent, I probably would have my child wear that as a badge of honor. It may be a little hard for them to grasp that. But going through life, we've gone through. I got written up for insubordination for doing something that I highly wear as a badge of honor, and I would put it on my wall because I was proud of it. Because sometimes you have to do certain things, even though you may get disciplined wrongly for it. Just chalk it up. I probably would get my daughter a shirt that had boxing gloves on it with a boxer and have her just wear it around the next day at school. No, I'm joking. But, just like, I'm so glad that she dealt with it that way as opposed to the other way, because everybody was failing her in the system, law enforcement and school.
Well, the counselor, you take it to the counselor. The counselor should do something immediately then and say, you know what, we're gonna look into this. And you know what, my daughter's the same age as that little girl. I'd sit there and be like, you know what, if they're not going to do it and you can't contact me, then unfortunately, you're going to have to handle it appropriately. I would snatch the phone and I would have said, here you go, take the phone and give it to, an adult or whatever. And whatever needs to happen happens.
Well, thanks, guys. Good commentary. We've got a video coming up. And again, we can take anything out of order if you want to. We got 3.5 minutes. Rumble.com, our favorite law enforcement video channel called This Is Butter. Springfield Police released body cam of a taser incident, left the suspect dead. Let's go ahead and talk about this. Some people are saying the taser killed somebody. Taser did not kill somebody, but there are rules of engagement. So Springfield, Ohio, body camera footage reveals more details about a traffic stop that led to a foot chase, during which a Springfield Police Division officer deployed their taser, leaving a person in critical condition. So let's go ahead and the first flag, there is a foot chase, and that is after a traffic stop. So, we've already got a non-compliant bad guy. If he would have complied, this never would have happened, right? So footage shows an officer getting out of his cruiser, chases the bad guy because he's a bad guy. He's non-compliant, broken the law, and he's fleeing on foot. The officer ends up firing his taser at the fleeing man around 11:30 in the morning on Tuesday. Now, the officer tried to stop the silver pickup truck earlier for a speeding violation. The guy fled. They didn't chase. And then the officer spots the car again, attempts to stop the driver again. And the suspect runs from the officer, foot chase, department issued taser. And when there's, look, you got to be aware of your environment when you use a taser. This was pretty tough because I'm watching, and you can't really see everything that the officer can see, but I was totally unaware that there was the concrete there, or that there was that there would be anything bad that would happen with the guy going down on the taser. And you can't really tell how the people are going to land, but this guy face planted. It was concrete. It wasn't a curb. We've seen some guys get killed when their head hits a curb or whatever. It's a flat surface. The guy face planted. I have to admit, I was really surprised with the amount of the injuries. There were a lot of blood. They they say his nose was busted. He was slurring his words and stuff, bleeding profusely, coming in and out of consciousness, mumbling, and he ended up dying. So that's the way this ended up happening. And they had to medevac him out, and he ended up. They said the article said he was in critical condition. The title of the article said that he was deceased. Travis Yates, you want to take this one?
It's no secret my belief on taser. I think the profession is overusing it. They're using it in situations they shouldn't be using it. If we keep through these videos today, we'll eventually talk about an officer using a taser against robbery suspects that ends up getting him shot. And I think this is very similar. Fleeing and running from people, that's an aggressive act. That's an act that not only is a taser maybe not applicable, it's very difficult to deploy, but I'm more worried about why they're running and what's in their hands and what they can access quickly when they do that. And so, yeah, we can have a debate all day long of when a taser should or shouldn't be used. I don't see many successes in foot pursuits with a taser. We all know when the taser tends to be more successful, right? Static, less lethal options, environments that's not potentially as violent. but we're seeing this taser used as a catch-all, be-all. And listen, everyone knows it, but everyone's scared to say it. We're using it too much. We have other tools we need to be using, and it's putting officers at risk. And in this one, it put the individual at risk.
Excellent point. Thank you so much, Doctor. Time for our third commercial break. Stick with us, guys. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we're going to be talking about GunLearn at gunlearn.com. And as law enforcement officers, we deal with guns every day, but it's what we don't know about them that gets us into trouble. Injuries, civil lawsuits, accidental discharges, misidentifications, lost prosecutions, and disciplinary issues. But gunlearn.com, they have your back. You can quickly become extremely firearm knowledgeable by simply learning 14 training modules from the convenience of your home or your office, or by attending a live seminar at gunlearn.com. You can also become a safe, accurate, and competent certified firearm specialist like our very own Captain Brett Bartlett and also attorney Ken Afianco. Now, the course has had huge success in raising the bar of firearm knowledge, and GunLearn has been a trusted source since way back in 2011 by gun manufacturers, federal agencies, forensic organizations, and police departments nationwide. Now, the founder, Dan O'Kelly's got a deal for you if you have your own agency. You can host a seminar for absolutely no cost. It's an amazing opportunity. You can go to gunlearn.com to get more information. And again, that is gunlearn.com. All right, guys, we got 2 minutes before we come back to the radio portion of the show. And I hope everybody's having a wonderful New Year's Eve day. I wouldn't want to spend it with anybody else but myself anyhow. So I know how you guys feel. Thank you for being here with me.
Travis, what are you doing tonight? You going out to the club?
Man, I quit doing New Year's Eve a long time ago.
But we just covered these two. They were going to hit LA. They were going to hit New Orleans, and then there's some other, I'm expecting some other stuff. Dude, I so hope that January the 1st comes and nothing happened the night before, because I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, my kids are actually doing things, and so we'll be home all alone, me and the wife.
That's a good thing. I mean, the way you said that, Travis, is kind of creepy.
No, I'm concerned. I'm
concerned for her. I'm concerned for her safety, man. I mean, poor girl.
I used to go out to the Columbia restaurant at the St. Pete Pier, and we would have a great dinner, and then we go up to the roof on Cha-Cha Coconuts, and we dance, and it was just like everything was within walking distance, and then we'd have to drive home. But I've never been a big drinker anyhow, unless Andrea's around. But
I stopped drinking, Chip. I don't drink anymore.
Oh yeah, we'll test that theory. Anyhow, but we're gonna go to a little restaurant nearby and probably go up at the bar. We get great service when you sit at the bar, and my wife used to be a bartender, so we'll just probably do that locally and go out and have a good time. Keep it somewhere. I'll be facing the door, and I'll be protecting people, but it's all good.
Can't you guys just relax? I mean, I'm watching what kind of place you going to where you have to, I want to put my back to the door.
Everywhere I go,
I'm in Idaho though. I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff, man.
I scan and I face the door. I can't help it, but
just relax.
Here we go. All right, guys, welcome back. Leo Roundtable at leoroundtable.com. My name is Chip the Block, and I'm your host. We're joined by attorney Anthony Bandiero from bluetogold.com, Dr. Travis Yates, and he also wrote the book, Courageous Police Leader, Don't Let Them Hold Back on You, and then Officer Andrew Casal. And we've been talking about some very interesting topics. Guys, I know that we're talking about the last one. It was a bad guy. He ran from the police more than once. And the last time they did a traffic stop on him, he bailed out on foot. There's a foot chase, and they end up tasering the guy. He face plants on a concrete surface, and the injuries, surprisingly, were bad enough to end up, killing him. And I know that Dr. Travis Yates was just talking about that. Any more commentary? Are you guys ready to move on? I know that we have a product by Compliant Technologies called the Glove, and I'm kind of curious, assuming that the cop would have got close enough and would have been able to keep up with the bad guy. It didn't look like he was running faster than the cop. I thought the cop was advancing on him. The glove would also be, but that's, an option, but that's up close and personal option, as well. So if there's no more commentary, we'll jump to our next one. I'll tell you what, I know we've got Anthony Bandiero on the show, and I we've got this. We got the senior guy that ended up getting a 4-year prison sentence for defending himself with a gun. But because there was some kind of law in New York, he got jammed up for that. Or do you want to cover that one, Anthony, or would you rather cover the tech? Is that good? Okay.
No, I think that's yeah. I mean, yeah, we can talk about that one a little bit.
So rvmnews.com, which stands for Red Voice Media News, great source for stories. Queens Senior begins a 4-year sentence on gun charges after justified self-defense shooting. I was kind of surprised to hear that. Now, the guy is 67 years old, and I used to think that was kind of old. I don't think that's old so much anymore. He's a retired doorman, and he will begin serving a 4-year prison sentence on January the 14th after his case from Queens. It stemmed from a fatal self-defense shooting. It ultimately resulted in criminal weapons possession charges against him, and this is reported by the New York Post. So Charles Foner, he's a longtime New York City resident. He later relocated to Pennsylvania. He pled guilty to owning unlicensed firearms, plural, after a May 2023 incident that happened in Kew Gardens neighborhood of Queens. Now, although the prosecutors determined that the shooting was justified, the Queens district attorney pursued charges related to firearms that were found in his possession. So this is troubling. According to the court records and statements from authorities, it originated early morning hours of May the 23rd when our guy goes out to purchase cigarettes. And crime in the area had increased following the opening of the now closed hotel in 2017. Foner had previously complained publicly about conditions in the neighborhood, telling the New York Post back in 2020 that it's not a nice little neighborhood anymore, and there's open drug activity everywhere. So then on the night of the incident, he encounters a guy named Cody Gonzalez outside his building. Gonzalez had a criminal record dating back to 2004, mental illness, and he demanded a cigarette and our guy's phone. Surveillance footage captured this. And our guy that shot him said, hey, he kept coming closer and clearly he was going to attack me. He stated that he pointed his firearm at the ground, but Gonzalez continued to approach and motion towards our guy's neck with an object. So our guy fired and killed Gonzalez. Remember, the shooting has been completely justified. And our guy that shot him said, hey, I didn't want to hurt anybody. He left me no choice. Now, our guy immediately called 911, cooperated with police. Prosecutors did not charge him in the death, and they ruled it justified. But a subsequent search revealed that our guy owned approximately 26 firearms, and only a few of those were licensed under New York law. Queens District Attorney Melinda Katz's office, they ended up charging Foner with criminal weapons possession, facing the possibility of a lengthy prison sentence if convicted at trial. He accepted a plea deal for 4 years. His attorney, Thomas Kenneth, who was also present, he talked about the Daniel Penny case, cited New York's firearms laws as a central issue in the case. And the attorney also said that those laws make it difficult for otherwise law-abiding citizens to legally possess firearms in order to protect themselves for self-defense. The sentencing judge declined a request from the prosecutors to remand Foner to Rikers Island immediately and allowing him to remain free through the Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays too. So there you go. Anthony Bandiero.
I mean, look, a couple observations. Number one is that obviously this situation kind of happens, frequently. It's not a rare situation where somebody actually uses a firearm in self-defense lawfully, but they get jammed up on some other, gun crime, whether they have a short-barreled rifle or they got, something that they're not supposed to have. This guy clearly, he had a lot of firearms. He was a gun nut, which I endorse wholeheartedly. I'm a gun nut. So he had, all these firearms and, it's New York. I'm sure there was no way legally for him to actually, possess some of these firearms like the AR-15s and so forth. Regardless, a couple things that when I look at this case, I think a couple things. Number one is I wonder if he gave consent, because how did they get into his apartment? Okay, I mean the shooting happened outside, so yeah, I'm not
even 26 guns on him. You're right.
He didn't have 26 guns on him. So this is just a lesson to even my cop friends out there that you don't give consent. Okay. If that's what happened here, it burned him. He basically dug his own grave. And the other thing is, don't talk, have a lawyer talk for you. Right. I have self-defense insurance. I recommend it. I'm a lawyer and I have self-defense insurance because I don't want to defend myself. I want somebody else doing the mouthpiece for. So I just think about stuff like that, Chip. I obviously the shooting, and this is something that's they're just like the video or the commentary about the AI pick. It's just two different issues. What happened on the bus and what happened on the phone, right? But I just think about did he consent to a search of his apartment? I hope
Great
not.
question. Great question. Yeah. Now you're at an undisclosed location right now, Anthony, within the city limits of New York, correct?
I am actually. Come and get me. Come and get me. I'll because actually I was going to talk about it, but there's a Second Amendment argument here that I don't know if they made, but you could try to get out of his mess by just making a Second Amendment argument, but of course it ain't going to work. But at least you try. That he could lawfully possess those guns under the Second Amendment, and they're
register them. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I think registration laws are unconstitutional, but of course, you need a very high level attorney to make that argument. It ain't gonna be the public defender's office. Well, I shouldn't be insulting like that. Most of them are not gun guys. That's why I'm saying it. They don't have the actual knowledge, the depth of knowledge to really pull that off.
Dr. Travis Yates.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that everybody listening to this spreads the word. If you're not in the blue to gold ecosphere or ecosystem, you're screwing up, man. Like, obviously you just heard Anthony. He's not on the show as much as he can because he's on the road a lot. It's the best training company out there, wholeheartedly, full stop. Quit playing around. At minimum, get over to the website, bluetogo.com, and put your email in there and get inside the things that they're doing. I cannot say that enough. This doesn't benefit me. I'm just telling you, I've been around the training world for 30 years. They're the best.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Wow, what a great endorsement. Yeah.
And it's sincere. Obviously, I appreciate that.
Yeah. And well, guys, if there's no more commentary on that one, we have less than 2 minutes. And I think that we maybe have just enough story to cover this feel-good story, if that's okay, where we've got at rumble.com, this is Butter, body cam footage shows this. Missouri State Highway Patrol trooper locates 2 kidnapped children on I-70. I was really impressed with the way he interacted with the children after this traumatic stop, and he downplayed it, right? So when the kids go back and they remember the stuff going down, there's so much stuff that I don't think that they're going to remember as being traumatic just because of the way the guy handled it. And just real quick, they located the children ages 1 and 3 on Interstate 70 in Lafayette County, and that's 15 minutes after an Amber Alert went off. That's incredible. Troopers located the suspect's vehicle using a license plate reader, technology and information provided by citizens. The children's mother was first driving the vehicle, giving the suspect a ride to someone else's house. And when the vehicle was stopped, the mother got out. Suspect steals the car with the 2 kids in it. And they initially fled from a trooper, and the suspect ended up pulling over as the officers from the patrol and the Concordia Police Department joined in. Higginsville Police, they joined in. So we had like 3 agencies. And then the Columbia Police Department said the officers responded to a call regarding the kidnapping. So we got a 4th agency, and they arrested Joy Smith, 24 years old, of Columbia, on 2 counts of second-degree kidnapping and tampering with a motor vehicle. And, I remember the troopers saying, hey, it's okay. The Highway Patrol is here. Here's a quote. Don't worry, the Highway Patrol is here. Oh, I absolutely love it. Commentary on this feel good story, guys. Andrea, you've got young children. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I thought that this was great, and I did think that he handled himself very, very well. I think that's one of the things that people have to understand when officers go into a situation. These are lives that, it's like you're dealing with everyday lives. You're dealing with children, you're dealing with, family members. So to the way that they went into that, just thinking like, obviously they don't know what they're going into, right? You're coming up to a car. You don't know what he has in there, but they do know that he has the kids in there. And I thought that they handled it very well. I just, I couldn't imagine if this was my children. And I thought that, very stand-up job that they did on this one. Thank you for sharing this one, Chip. Thank you for ending our new year with something positive.
and as a retired trooper, the only thing that story's missing is what was the status of her registration. I hope that she had current registration. That also that's things I think about.
You are a diehard trooper. Oh yeah.
You know what? I'm so glad that you brought it back to that. That's right. Let's keep it real, man. Because I'll probably give her a ticket for that too. You know what I mean? That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Here's your kids back, but here's your ticket for expired registration.
Well, guys, we are about out of time, and I appreciate so much you all being on the show. Anthony Bandera with Blue the Gold at bluethegold.com. If you guys haven't been to bluethegold.com yet, please do. He's got those free weekly webinars that he's doing. What do you have to lose, guys, and agencies? I was going to say that he travels the country and does these seminars. That might change. You may want to book him before he takes that off the market. But check that out again as well. I want to mention the Wounded Blue, the woundedblue.org. Lieutenant Randy Sutton's 501c3 that's helping cops out in World of Hurt. Travis Yates has got Courageous Police Leader. I just had that up on the screen. Andrea Casal, thank you guys so much. Everybody here is available, on LinkedIn as well if you want to contact them. And guys, please don't forget our sponsors. They go to great lengths to bring this quality content to you. And again, we've got Gauls.com, CompliantTechnologies.com, AeroPrecisionUSA.com, Gunlearn.com, MyMedicare.live, Safe Air Recruiting, 2 Bells, and FishOrlandoBass.com. We'll see you guys back tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern. And I'm going to keep the stream going just for another minute and a half to keep the satellite company happy. They want us to go to the top of the hour. Everybody, I hope everybody has a wonderful and safe New Year. Hey, we got roughly over 1 million people that we're streaming to. Final words to our streaming audience before the New Year kicks in, guys. Any final words?
Just Happy New Year. Have a wonderful and safe New Year. Just be safe. This is when I'm supposed to say, call a ride. Make sure that you don't drink and drive.
Oh, that's not a bad point.
That's actually good. That's a good one. Call a ride.
Thanks.
It's too cheap to get a ride home, but Uber. You know what I mean? Uber is the ultimate. It is. DUIs are very expensive. Right, Chip? I'm just
Gee, I wouldn't know, but
remember
I'm glad
that third one we talked about?
I'm glad I don't know.
Yeah.
Never been a big. Yeah. I drink for taste. When I say I'm not a big drinker, I never really.
You don't drink for sport.
My first beer, I was on duty. I bought it with city money. I mean, I was working plain clothes. I mean, that was my first beer. So I really, not until I retired that I really acquired. I never had bourbon until I went to St. Augustine after I retired with my wife and did a distillery tour. And then I found out what bourbon was. And that was it was love at first sight. Oh, man. Yeah.
Yep. Travis, what do you got to say?
Man, no, I just, everybody, regardless of what happened in 25, we kind of have a symbolic tomorrow. You get to turn the page and the future is yours.
I'm sorry. Travis just sent me a private message saying, please bring my banner up while I talk. Okay, there you go. Sorry,
I did not say that.
Sorry.
I did not say that.
I said that pretty convincingly,
man.
Didn't I? That was pretty good. With a straight face. I mean, I love it. So,
I thank you for letting me be part of the show today. I learned a lot. I enjoyed it. You guys it was nice. It was fun. Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah. Anthony, I love having you on here. Hey, everybody still has a LinkedIn presence, I think, right? Because I know that Travis, you're still torn and talking about, and you're still at courageouspoliceleader.com, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I know that I saw there was a new, didn't you change? There's a new website or something that you've got going on too?
Oh, if you go to travisyates.org, it branches you off to all of them. No one can spell courageous, so that's not a good one to give out.
That's actually a good point, isn't it?
True, I know.
That's
I
actually so true.
And I can't. I don't know.
Well, when I go to LinkedIn,
in the South, they say CUR.
I'm a PE teacher.
And in
the
North, they don't even know what courage is. So it's really weird.
When I go to LinkedIn and I type in, I link you guys in, I go to Courageous Police Leader or whatever, but you the name changed, the LinkedIn profile changed. So whenever I type it in, it doesn't pop up anymore. And I had to do all this research and try to find out what the new name was and all that stuff. So
yeah, that's great. All right. Well, look, I'll see you guys next year. Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Anthony, hold on. I'm going to end the stream. Streamers, thank you guys so much for watching the show. We appreciate it. And we will see you guys hopefully tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern. MVS and everybody over there, thanks so much. And Chip, so can you sue the police department, Chip? I'm not sure of flock cameras. Can you sue the police department? They're talking about the flock cameras. Did you see that story, Anthony, about the flock? That was on, I think, law officer. That. Okay.
Yeah, that was from. Go ahead.
Well, he wants to know
sue the police department?
I'm being asked, on Rumble by MVS, if you can sue the police departments because of the active cameras that are accessible by anybody over the web.
No, I mean, it depends on what. First of all, there's no civil rights violation there, so you cannot do a civil rights claim on these cameras.
On a public street.
You're on a public street, and also it would depend on state law, right? I mean, Washington has a very robust transparency law, the Sunshine Law, right? So for FOIAs and so forth. But no, I mean, there's what's the cause of action, right? What are you going to sue about? I mean, if the law allows people to get this data, then it is what it is. You fix that by not with a lawsuit, but you fix it with the legislature, which they should, obviously. Yeah, they should fix that. But no, it's not a time for get money. I mean, that's not the. Anyway.
Anyhow, MVS, Attorney Anthony just sent me a private message asking me for you to send in your home address and mailing address so he can send you an invoice. And hey, appreciate everybody for watching the show, streamers. Thank you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Happy New Year. Be safe.